on this week's episode of Forever I Do.
It was a Saturday extra class, man. And I sat at the back of the class and I thought it was a chemistry class because when I saw her first.
You're now in full-time ministry. You're not a student anymore. How is this thing going to work?
This is Forever I Do. Friends in high school and all the way to the aisle. For Astor and Keisha, 18 years of marriage has definitely been worthwhile.
Many years ago, there, about 94?
94?
Yeah.
The final year in high school. Mm-hmm. We attended a physics class together.
Yeah, in Mandeville.
Yeah.
Marky, she went to Bishop's, I went to Knox. It was a Saturday extra class, man. And I sat at the back of the class and I thought it was a chemistry class because when I saw her first, why?
I keep getting messages that this guy liked me because I sat at the front of the class and I'm always a little late because I'm coming from maths class to physics class, so I'm not looking around and socializing. But every time I go back to school, they'll be teasing me about the Shrimpy. I'm like, who is Shrimpy? I don't know who Shrimpy is. Until eventually I got a phone number and I called and nobody came to the phone, so that was it for me.
The night when she called and I recognized it was her, I lost my ability to talk. I couldn't believe it. And so I just said, hello, and that was it. And she said, boy, you sound as if you're busy, so I'll talk with you again. And that was it. I could have kicked myself. Life is a wonderful thing, you know. The truth of the matter is that time would have elapsed, and we ended up doing A-levels together at Knox. And some of the courses that we shared were similar courses. We were together in some of the classes.
General paper and economics.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the person and saying he looks familiar, but then I'm looking at the name on the book and I'm saying that's not the name I know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay.
She knew me as Kirk.
Right.
But then in school at A-levels, she got my formal name. And so the ability to match both names became a little bit difficult for her. But then fate would happen that we both served on the Students' Council Executive together. And I think it was June 1, 1995, after that 94 experience. I was talking with a friend and she was walking past and I said to my friend, you see, Keisha, boy, I used to like that girl and I still like her. And she heard. And she stopped and she said, all this time, and you never said anything to me.
And that's after 1 year of being in class together. Yeah.
So June 1 this year would have celebrated 25 years at the start of our relationship.
It built from friendship and it just evolved. And we're all over the place. As I went to college, I was working, he's in Kingston, I'm in Mandeville. So it was just a friendship going on and on.
Yeah. And it just evolved.
Yeah.
That June 1 day was a watershed date because it was there that she really knew how I felt about her. And we, by virtue of having shared classes and having served on the Student Council Executive, we would have already been spending time.
Yeah.
So it just deepened and solidified. And
friendship
emerged,
Yeah.
and then it just continued. Before we got married,
Yeah.
we would have been in the relationship for 7 years.
Yeah, so 7 years.
7 years, 2 months, and 2 days.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
he had a golden number. He's not getting married until he's 28. I said, 28? That seems like a very long time because we have been friends since, wait until 28. So I had to go away, went on one of the work study programs to the UK, took a year off from uni because I was studying part-time at university and it was time to come back, and I said, Asta, I don't know how it's going to work with me being in Kingston and you're nearby in Spanish Town. Normally you're in St. Anne, I'm in Manchester. So it was easy to manage and to have a real Christian relationship. But I said, no, I'm coming back, you're coming back. Distance makes the hearts go fonder, and I don't know what is going to happen.
She just can't resist me, so I said to myself,
You're now in full-time ministry. You're not a student anymore. How is this thing going to work? But Keisha, 28 is the number. I said, 28? Okay. I don't know how this is going to work. Waiting until you're 28 and I'm there and you're there. I don't know.
A man knows himself better the older he becomes. And I was wondering if at 25 I would have been at the place mentally to manage something as crucial and critical as marriage. And so I put a ballpark figure of 28. But hey, 25 is good. It depends on your maturity level, because marriage requires maturity. And I keep telling people that there's a difference between being old and being mature.
Yeah. I testify to that.
Maturity has a lot to do with how you interpret and understand your experiences and how you manage your life. So I think we were very mature for 25.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is that we got married at 25, and so while she was abroad, I went to her uncle, told him of my intentions. I went to her aunt and told her of my intentions. This time, Keisha's mom was living in the States.
Yeah.
And what I then did, I took a plane up and asked for her hand in marriage. And Keisha was still in England at the time.
In the UK.
And they seemed okay with the concept, It was a little bit of struggle, but we got through that. And she returned, and I proposed properly.
Yeah, because I came back for his ordination, because he had to be 1 year in ministry as an intern before being ordained. So I came back in November for his ordination. So we did the formal proposal and engagement at the time.
If you have been in a relationship with someone for 7 years, clearly the family members would have seen you around, and they would have figured that you guys are in a relationship. And so I went to them and told them that, having spent so many years with Keisha, I'm asking them, please, for the privilege of her being my wife. And her uncle was really good about it. Her aunt got immediately confused. Her aunt was like, no, I can't give consent. Her mom has to do it. And so
It's a journey to New York.
Her mother was not fully up for it. Mother was not fully up for it because she was concerned about the ability to
finishing university, and you may just get pregnant and not finish school. And I said, but it's not like you're telling me to be in university. I placed myself in university, so the ultimatum is for me. The onus is on me to complete it. Yes, but that's not what you wanted for me. And pastors will make a lot of money, and will he be able to take care of you?
The thing I love about Keisha is that she's a walking paradox, right? She is soft as cotton but tough as steel. So when she makes up her mind that she's going to do something, it's gonna get done. And she decided that she is going to get married. My family was over the moon. I mean, love her to death, and we were ready. And she said that she was going to do it, and got married 3rd of June 2002. Everybody
He
came on
bought
board.
all the souvenirs, all the fabric for the bridesmaid, all the decoration, and got them here and everything. So yeah, I studied most of the planning. I only focused on getting my dress, sorting out the bridesmaid, but in terms of booking the venue, planning every single detail of it, he did everything because I was in the UK, as I said before, and he was here. And I returned in May, and the wedding was August. So everything was sorted out by the time I got back to Jamaica. Yeah.
Yeah, she only make it sound good. I mean, the truth is that, yes, I did the leg work, but she did a lot of the mind work. So I had to report to her ever so often.
Yeah.
And she had her people who were working along with me. So
yeah. Got there 15 minutes before the start time. That's a record for me.
That was my wow moment when I heard Keisha is on time for interviews, but nothing else. So
I'm punctual for work.
She's punctual for work.
I'm punctual for work.
But she was 15
No, I don't
minutes.
like to wait on persons. So I know persons love to observe this Jamaica time, so I'm not going to come there and sit and wait on you. I'm going to come when I think it's going to get started. Yeah, but I was 15 minutes from my wedding. I had to drive out and come back and wait for them to be ready. Yeah, because I was bent on not, you go to some wedding and it just never ends. It was a morning wedding and I said, no, I can't have the people waiting on me because I think it's rude. You come, you're probably leaving your breakfast. This is in Kingston, and a person's coming from Manchester because we're from Manchester. So for me, no. That is why I purchased my wedding dress, because I said I'm not going to be waking up on the morning and a dressmaker is going to tell me that she's not finished with something, because I'm saying if nobody else is there, I'm going to leave then. And anybody who is in the church, they're going to be the witness. So nothing is going to make me late. And I was there 15 minutes before.
To look around and see her.
Yeah, I doubted that I was going to come.
No, I didn't doubt you were going to come, but to actually see you. I see your wedding dress, and to know that on this day we're making this covenant to each other. Actually, I cried. I did. Yeah. And I don't look good when I cry.
He's a soft person.
Yeah,
But for music, when everything got done, I was like, is this for real?
Yeah.
We went into the room at Alhambra Inn. I said, is this for real? We're going to be sharing the same space forever? It's like, I had to go back outside and walk.
Yeah, I went down to a friend's house and
Still to come,
sex is great. Sex is great as an experience and as an exchange. But I think that in the event that you're not able to have sexual intercourse, that which buoys up a relationship is a friendship that allows for vulnerability and openness.
but first, we talk about one of the most important elements of your wedding event, the food. Here's Executive Chef Mark Cole.
Every bride knows what they want, and every bride have an idea as to the moment, their concept of their weddings. So for me as a chef, I always intend to just have a private discussion with the bride. When everyone else come to meet you, pull the bride aside and try to figure out what the bride is thinking, what she's looking for on her day. You can do buffets, you can do plated, you can do barbecue styles. Depends, right? So what I do is just try and get information from the bride themselves. If you're doing a morning wedding, basically you're trying to achieve a breakfast wedding. And if it's that's anytime before 12 o'clock, then you can say, if it's before 11, I should say, you can consider it a brunch. You might put something in there that is lunch and something that is more on the breakfast side. If you're gonna go straight Jamaican or you want the international infusions, most people infuse a lot of different cuisines into their menus and stuff. Yes, everybody wants the flavor of Jamaica. So if you're gonna do a breakfast wedding, yes, you're gonna have to do your ackee saltfish, and you're gonna have to do your steamed collard or your fried dumpling. Now for me, I'll recommend that you do like a nice barbecue pigtail, or you can put a twist to oxtail and do a nice grilled barbecue oxtail also. I just do the oxtail and then barbecue it afterwards. If it is a lunch menu, you can basically do carvers. You You can do barbecue items, you know, a little bit of fried rice or some Jamaican ones or the rice and peas. Then if you go into the dinner time, then you can still do carvery like action station, pasta station, carvery. You can do for desserts. You can do waffle is big now. Depends on what you're gonna put in the waffles because it all depends. You can infuse so much ingredient into waffle mix. The roasted nuts. You can incorporate berries. You can incorporate fruits. And depends on the topping that you want to use. That make that be a station itself. You can do a whole suckling pigs, depends on the stuffing that you want to put in there. Or you can do prime rib or a strip loin or a tenderloin. And you can either Jamaicanize it or you can just keep it simple. A lot of people now want to do salad bars they don't want a spinach salad, right? And they treat it just like how you treat a Caesar salad station. So all the different condiments. Now salad bars is going with personal choices because everybody now becomes individual chefs and everybody have a perception as to what a chef should do or what, you know. So you're doing this wedding and the two in-laws want this and the two friends want that, so that's why I always stick to the bride because at the end of the day if the bride is not happy after the wedding then you end up in several meetings and a discount has to now be put in place. So we try to ease the palate by just having and the other one big question that I always ask too is that, which is very important, what's your clientele base? Where are the people coming from? So when you have that an idea as to where the people are coming from and where you can easily figure out their liking the food, especially for the Jamaica Pegasus, we're able to adjust easily. Alright. The other thing that is big in weddings now is vegetarians. Alright. Vegetarian is a huge thing for wedding, especially if you're doing Indian weddings. We have done several Indian weddings here. One of the Indian weddings we have done, we have no exaggeration. It's over 47 different items that was on that menu. That was huge. And I would say 60% of that was vegetarians. So you have to be able to infuse their culture with their guest culture and also at the same time please the bride. Mm-hmm. So we're very good at doing that at the Jamaica Pegasus. I take the curry goat and I make a spring roll, right? So I deconstruct the goat, re-season and cook and fold it into a spring roll, serve it with a nice green salad with a mango vinaigrette, you know, something presented in a different form but you still get a chance to use your curry goat. Like once I was doing a wedding here and the persons they said they have to have ripe plantain on the menu, but it was a plated menu. And I said, all right, well, let's use the plantain and make a vinaigrette, and we're also going to use the plantain to make a croutons. So we did like a nice croutons instead of using the bread for the Caesar salad crouton. We'll make a plantain crouton and we'll make a ripe plantain vinaigrette, which was very tasty and interesting. So you're able to please the clientele. People eat with their eyes before anything else. All right, and that is one of the things that we believe in at the Jamaica Pegasus. We are big on presentation. You'll have sleepless nights just trying to put this concept together. So whenever time someone decides on what the final menu is, now you have to go back and you have to sit. And every chef is an artist, right? You have to sit and you have to put colors together. You have to put the design of the plate. And then sometimes you will draw it on paper and then you actually cook it. And then you see it looks and you get a good gut feelings. Then you say, all right, here you go. And then after that we do a tasting. But the presentation is very, very much key to the overall look and feel of the wedding. When the wedding is over and everything is done, all people talk about is how the bride did look and how the food it tastes. So we specialize in making sure that the quality and the presentation of the food is at its best. And for us here at the Pegasus, we're able to do whatever cuisine it is. So if you want some French food, Italian food, when we're cooking at the Pegasus, we have fun because we're good at what we do and we have a good team. We have an excellent team that is able to execute whatever cuisine we're capable of producing just about any cuisine that is possible. Just come in and talk to us. We have a good sales team and we have some good packages offering right now, and you're able to sit with a chef at the director of sales, and we work something out for you. The government has just lifted your crowd to 50. So 50 is not a bad number for a nice decent wedding. So come on over and have fun. Looking forward to cater for you at the Jamaican Pegasus. I'm Chef Cole, and you're watching Forever I Do.
Thanks, Chef Cole. Now let's get back to our couple, Esther and Keisha.
It's natural. I'm at home, I'm going to tidy and fix the house and do the laundry. If Asta is there, he's going to tidy the place. He's going to start to prep the meals. There's no defined role. No, you must do this, I must do that. But there are things that we know that each of us is better at. So after a while, you say, you know what, Asta, I'll take charge of this, and you just focus on doing that. Because if I find that if you're going to do the laundry and I may do it faster, I'll do it. And you focus on something else. There's no defined role. It changed as life changed. Because even though the kids were saying, Daddy doesn't do this, Daddy doesn't do that. I said, not that he can't do, Daddy can do it, but Daddy is not available to do it. Because when we were in Spanish Town, when I could study and be out until 3 o'clock in the morning with study group because Daddy was there and Abigail was a baby. So he was able to be there with you, so I could do that. So now that Daddy is not available, things move around a bit, and you have grandma here, and you understand me, there's a system in place. But Daddy can cook, Daddy can clean, Daddy can do these things. So Daddy is not available to do them. You have to be telling them that. Because as far as they're concerned.
Thank God for COVID. Eh?
yeah.
Proof to them that I
can cook. Yeah. The friendship, the adventures.
Yeah, the adventures.
The wild adventures, yeah.
We like to go out a lot. We like to dance. Yeah. We like good music. Yeah. We like good food. We like good people. We like house parties. We really like to sit down and have a glass of wine. We like to watch movies. We like to just have fun and chill. We like to go to the beach. We like to drive. We like to go movies. We just like to live. We like life.
Despite the rigors of the ministry and the demands, although we don't get to do it a lot, but our sacred month is a vacation, 1 month, August. And I know at work, forget that you don't work in August. I said, I don't know how husbands take vacations at a different time from your wife. I don't know how you do it. But yeah, we have to take vacations together and have some short times when we will escape together as well, even before. So yeah, that's good. So even though you're so involved in church, yeah, we do take our time to do our thing. I guess we knew each other so well from before. As a fashionista, he's an organizer, he's an ultimate romantic. Sometimes I have to say to him, I feel like I'm the man in the relationship because you're just so soft and mushy. And I mean, when we were courting, we had to rely on the mail system because we had no phones at the time. Where I lived, we had no telephone. So when you hear I called him, it was a cable and wireless box that I used to call him, right? Because I don't know, we lived at a unique place where everything they say, they would have to put in extra poles to come over to us. So everything passed us by telephone, and we got, well, back then my parents got like late, but yeah. But everything passes, so we had to rely on the mail, and also write me like 3 pages and I'll write him 1 page. I'm like, oh my God, I have them all in a box. And he'll write these poems and frame them for our anniversary, for our birthday. He's such a romantic. We were really friends. I went to his house, went with his parents. We went out a lot together, shared a lot of different family occasions before getting married. Because when my siblings were here from the States, we went out a lot together, and we're all over the place together. So we knew a lot about each other, a lot.
I married my best friend.
Except the physical aspect of,
Paradox that she is. I would have known it, but becoming old and getting married, I would have seen more of it. I tell you, tough as a nail. When she puts her mind to something, it gets done. Soft as cotton though, because when she feels deeply. And the thing that really stands out for me is that she would give her last to ensure that those who have nothing are as comfortable as they possibly can be. She doesn't suffer fools gladly, and she doesn't rush in. And that's the thing I love about her. She scopes out a situation before entering it. And she, many times, has been the person to pull me back and to anchor me and to help me to be careful in terms of some of the interactions and decisions that I would make. Yeah. And these are some crucial things that I've learned about her, even as we have journeyed along in marriage.
Because you basically know everything. You know the quirks, you know what they will do, what they will not do. So, this phase in the marriage where the fighting and you get upset about these things, you pass that because you already know what triggers, what sets us off, what gets him going, because you spend time developing the relationship, and becoming friends. When you're friends without the butterflies, you get to do stupid things and laugh at each other and sing,
Mm-hmm. And I mean, by virtue of the values that we share, I mean, it's important. I think friendship allows us to solidify the values that we share and to bring out the values that we share. It makes life easier, it makes decisions easier, it makes navigating challenges easier. And we have had some challenges in our own family setup.
Yeah.
But friendship, that person who stands with you when the winds of change and the winds of challenge blow, friend, that is who you need. Let me tell you, sex is great. Sex is great as an experience and as an exchange. But I think that in the event that you're not able to have sexual intercourse, that which buoys up a relationship is a friendship that allows for vulnerability and openness. One of the misconceptions is that he or she will change when I get married. Yeah. People marry persons intending to change them. The truth is that many times persons can adjust their behavior, but to try to change a person, you will be climbing a wall that is too steep for you to climb. Another misconception is that we get married because of what we can get, instead of how we can allow for mutuality in terms of both receiving and giving. And I think many people do not understand the principle of to have and to hold. Marriage is about mutuality. Many people believe that when you get married, everything will be all right. It's a perfect, smooth sailing life without its challenges and its quirks, and that knight in shining armor is here to solve all the problems.
Yeah, and financial resource.
Yeah.
We're going to provide everything.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
And you must want for nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. Marriage, I believe, for it to work properly requires communication. Communication to a relationship is like what oxygen is to life. And communication allows for understanding, and it bolsters commitment, and it allows for mutual respect, so these are crucial.
Thank you, Aster and Keisha. Here's to many more years of wedded bliss. On the next episode of Forever I Do.
I never liked Sandrine at first.
At all.
At all.
Yeah, because the reason why he didn't like me is because I told him the truth.
What
Because he was with this girl and he did something and he broke her heart. So I was like, heartbreaker, and he was like, who is this girl to tell me that I am a heartbreaker? She don't know me or anything. But from that,
so
I
never liked her, but something happened. At the time I wasn't a Christian. Mm-hmm. But something happened where I think all of this came, I think God put all of this in place so we could be together.
Thanks for tuning in. See you next week. Makeup services by Nardine Makeup. Coordination and planning, Shakima Hines of Island Bride, Jamaica. Set Decor, Thai Flora Lux. Forever I Do is filmed on location at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, your wedding destination in Kingston, Jamaica.